So hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm publishing it on a very special day and I would like to talk about it. It's the 1st of March and on this day the registration to WU BBE is open. It's the first day that's running and you can register until the 22nd of May. So for those who don't know, WU BBE stands for the Bachelor of English and Economics, the Bachelor of Business and Economics, it's fully taught in English at the Vienna University of Economics and Business, so at WU, the university that's famous for its magnificent campus, and you've probably seen the library building, since it's just out of this world. It's amazing. It's like a starship. And I would like to congratulate you with that date. And when you were probably back in September, October, when you were just starting your last year of high school, most of you are in your last year of high school right now, and thinking about your education possibilities, thinking about your options, where you could go, where you could study, and you thought, okay, March is spring, it's so far away right now. Well, here we are, and time flies really fast, and yeah, now you can register for it. And you won't believe, but the day when the entrance exam comes will also very, very quickly come, so please start preparing for it as soon as possible. And then in this video I would like to answer some common questions you might have about the selection procedure and have like a step-by-step walkthrough. Also, last year I made a video, a very, very detailed one, explaining how the online exam goes, what to be ready for, the structure, and so on. And you can find this video here, and be sure to watch it because it's still up to date, since the exam 2023 is also going to be online. So yeah, all the same rules will apply. And check WU's website for any of the updates, because for the online exam rules they have a link and they say it's going to be updated, but since the information there hasn't changed over the past few years, it's also safe to assume it's going to be more or less the same rules for the online exam procedure. So yeah, then right now, I want to walk you through this the how to find the requirements and the selection procedure steps on the WU's website, since it's going to be a bit tricky at first. So when you go to WU's website, you have the main page, and there you can select to apply to the bachelor's programs, and there you have a menu. So you select that you want a bachelor's program, you select which one you want, and I'm assuming it's the Bachelor of Business and Economics that you're all looking for, since you're watching this video right now. And then you will have an option to choose where you're finishing your school. So where is your education? Where did you get it? And then you can choose, did you have it, are you gonna finish it in Austria, are you gonna finish it in a EU country, in a non-EU country? And that changes nothing but the admission procedure. So for example, the selection procedure, the entrance exam, and everybody has to take the same one. Everybody has the same obligation to write a motivation statement and to take the own self-assessment. So nothing differs apart from the documents that might be required from you. For example, if you're from EU, your English proof, you don't usually need to take any additional tests like TOEFL or IELTS, because the passing rate on a matura, so if it's a passing rate on the English subject you have in school, it's enough for you to prove that you have a B2 and up level of English. So yeah, so documents might differ a bit, but the selection procedure stays the same for everybody, no matter where they're finishing school. So once you select, you will have this menu of step 1, step 2, and step 3. Step 1 will just have an overview of general requirements. You don't need any of those documents right now. During the registration procedure, they don't ask you for anything, for your high school certificate or for the English proficiency proof. You don't need it. You will only need it during the admission procedure, in case you get accepted from the late July until the 5th of September in case of the general enrollment period, or until the 31st of October in case of an extended enrollment period in special cases. And I will also talk about it a bit later, what those special cases are. So the first step is the registration. You register from today until the 22nd of May. And what you have to do is you have to fill out some basic personal data, your address, your name, and so on and so on. And you also have to pay the 50-year registration fee. About the filling out the data, some people were confused because they went to step 3, the admission procedure, and they had this kind of form which you need to fill out in case you're admitted to the program and you want to reserve your spot and bring the documents. And then there is a form. You don't need to fill out anything physically right now on paper. You only need to fill out the data they ask you in the online registration tool, and the link is on the WU's website as well. You can just click it and it redirects you directly there. And yeah, please put an email there you actually check, because you will have some emails from the university, some up to like updates from it receiving there, and check your spam folder, check your like every folder you have there just in case not to miss anything. And then so right now you're only working with the online registration tool that's going to be your best friend for this whole selection procedure, since everything will be there. So, and the 50 euro fee you can pay it until the 22nd of May. Please pay it in full. So make sure banks, if they charge commission, you still have a few days to kind of pay the difference, because there is a story. One girl, she paid the fee and bank took some money from her for the transfer, and then she had to write to everybody, to all the program managers and IT department to let her back in because it wasn't her fault. So please pay that 50 euro fee as soon as possible, and there's many ways you can pay it, and they're right here on this website as well. And once you do, you're all set, and then you can, if you want, already start working on your motivation statement or take the online assessment, but you don't have to. And on the website they write that those steps are going to take place, they're going to come into action, let's say, in case there is more people than there are spots applying. And it's safe to say there will be more people, because as of 2022 there was a statistics published by WU, and there was 10 times more applicants than there are spots for the BBE program. That means there was around 2,400 spots, or 2,400 applicants for 240 spots. So that's a lot of people, and the top 10% get in, and the 90% unfortunately don't. So keep that in mind. And so once they announce, it takes place, and they already picked the date for the entrance exam, because they know almost for sure that's going to be more people than there are spots. And the 27th of June is going to be online. And I'm going to talk about it also later in the video. And then the next two steps, after you fill out your personal data, there's also like a survey you can take about your experience with the application procedure, and it's really nothing that too tricky. It's just a simple survey, and I'm pretty sure it's optional to fill out or not to fill out. So yeah, so don't pay too much attention to it. It's nothing, nothing that will influence anything as you go on with the selection procedure. Then the next two steps would be the online self-assessment, and that's just a short test. You can take as much time as you need for it. You can also use anything you need for it, like you can like look up on the internet and everything. And it's basically like a test that the grade you receive there doesn't go anywhere, and they also stated on the website that it doesn't influence anything. And also on my Instagram and my WU Bachelor's Day highlights, that was a few months ago, and it's also going to be there's also going to be another one on the 14th of April. So if you want to come there, DM me. I'm also going to be there, so we can meet up if you want there as well. But basically, the BB program manager said that the only thing that counts for the decision if you're accepted or not is your entrance exam score and your ranking. Are you in the top 240 students or not? The motivation statement and the OSA are just there as a prerequisite to get the entrance exam invitation. So, and I will elaborate a little bit right now. So the online self-assessment is just a quick test about your expectations of the program. So you're going to have like questions like, do you think you will be able to work with your studies? And then if you answer yes, you're going to have like an explanation pop up that yeah, you can, but it's actually a bit challenging to manage since it's a full-time study program. But the flexibility of it, and like you can choose courses and like so on, like you can choose different times, professors, and later also just plan out your whole semester. It allows for that. And so after that, after like a quick reality check of what you expect from the program and what it actually is, you will have a quick like IQ logic test with like basic questions, and also you'll have a few math, English, and economics questions that are not related to the test. They're not in the test format. They're not in the true/false format with 5 statements. They're just easy, simple questions for you to see. And even if you don't do so well on the online self-assessment, it's fine. I know people who were like confused, like what is this, and they just did it like, okay, just do something, like click something or put some answers, and they didn't get such a high score there. And it doesn't matter, because that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't, succeed on the entrance exam. So don't worry about that. Regarding the motivation statement, on the WU website you had some general questions, so you know what to be ready for. But the actual questions, the specific questions, are available on the online registration platform. And you'll have 3 online boxes where you can write your answers. And the limit is in characters, so it's just 3 medium-sized paragraphs. It's not like 450 words they ask. They ask for 450 characters. It's not a lot, trust me. And in those questions, make sure you write them nicely. You have like nice, grammatically correct answer, the punctuation is right, and you run it for Grammarly or any other grammar checkers you want. Because one of the applicants, he decided to write it so carelessly, without any full stops, without like capital letters, without anything, and wrote like very, random answers. And unfortunately, he was refused the entry to the entrance exam. So they checked it. So they checked these 2 steps just to see who cares and who is diligent to fulfill those 2 steps, and then move on to the entrance exam. Because if people don't care at this stage, then yeah, it's just like a little filter before the entrance exam day. So please make sure you write a nice answer. And my tip would be, so you have 3 questions about why are you a good fit for the program, why did you choose to apply to this program, and where do you see yourself in 3 years after finishing the program. And my advice would be just to write something more specific or more detailed, and not like vague or basic information you can find. For example, don't write, hello, my name is, I'm this much years old, this many years old. It doesn't, they can see that in the in your basic data, personal data. So write something more unique about yourself, just than your name and your age. Also about the question of why did you decide to apply. Maybe a good idea would be to look at the professors they have on their courses, or at the specializations you're able to choose from the free electives, and say, okay, I applied because this professor has, like, I'm a fan of his research is great, and I decided to take classes with him, that's why I'm applying. Or like this specialization is great, and I would like to take it during my studies, or I'm really looking forward to an exchange semester at this partner university of yours. So make it a bit more specific, and to show them you actually cared to make a bit more research about the university itself. And I also made a webinar about where you can look and find all the free electives and specializations you can find for BBE, and the link will be down below. And yeah, so that's about it. So be a bit more specific. So try to stand out from like the basic information. So writing that, oh, your campus is so beautiful and education is so great, is not the best idea, but you can a bit more like elaborate on your thoughts a bit. And make sure you really include the most important things, because you only have a very limited number of words you can write. The characters, like it's one like paragraph, more or less of this size. So really use all those characters to write something good and something presentable. Then after that, you will be notified, and before the entrance exam, you will have 2 mock tests, and those tests are there to let you know how the platform looks. Does it work on your computer? What do you need to install? And all the instructions for the online test will be published soon. So the link right now, when you click on it, it redirects you to a website, and it says we will update information as soon as possible. But usually that information stays the same throughout all these years, so it's going to be just some basic rules and like a guide on how to work with the Wieslow platform on which the test will take place. And please make sure you take those mock tests. So the first one will be like a general with random, completely unrelated questions, just for you to see the platform. And the next one that comes a bit later, it says it's like an exam simulation, but it's not. It's like, it has the questions in the exam format, and also like if they're a bit more difficult, but it's just 6 questions. It's a few math and a few economics questions, and like I think 1 English question. So just 6 questions, and it's not much. It's just for you to estimate what to be ready for, but they won't give you a full exam there. So please, you have this kind of expectation with the reality, figure it out right now. Just not to expect like a full exam with 33 questions. No, you won't get that in the mock test. So yeah, please take them, because if you do take them and then you have some technical difficulties on the exam day, and we all think, okay, everybody had those difficulties, but I'm not going to have them. And then it happens to you, and then you don't know what to do. So you have the the IT department you can contact in case of technical difficulties. But if you did not take those mock tests, they're gonna send you back at the back of the queue, kind of the online queue for technical difficulties, since they said, okay, since you didn't check it yourself first, what can we do? But if you took those mock tests, they will prioritize your request, or they might try to give you extra time until the technical issue is resolved. Because it happened to one of the applicants, his microphone wasn't working or something happened, and he couldn't proceed with the exam. And he wrote to them, and they wrote, well, since you didn't take the mock exams, we cannot do anything, sorry. But he sent them a screenshot, and actually take the screenshot, so that he took both of the mock tests, and then they let him, they gave him some extra time. So please make sure you take at least one of them. It's really important, because in case something happens, then it's not going to be your fault, and they will try to help you out. But if you didn't take them at all, and you decide, okay, whatever, then they will also put you at the end of the IT difficulties queue. So keep that in mind. And they actually put it on their website as well, this description. So yeah, it's true. So yeah, that's going to be about the mock exams. And then you have the exam itself on the 27th of June from 10 a.m. till 12, till noon. And you have 2 hours, it's Vienna time. And if you have any exams overlapping, unfortunately, there is no other date or there's no exceptions in that case. So if you have an exam that overlaps, maybe try to find ways. Maybe you can take that overlapping exam a bit later during the retake session time or something else. So unfortunately, that happens. And I know a few people that have the exam on the same day as the BBE entrance exam, and it might be on the same time, during the same time. So please see what you can do about the overlapping exam, because about the BBE one, there's going to be no other date possible. Or you can also apply next year as well, if you really cannot skip the exam that overlaps with it. And so that I told for the, and also if you have any injuries, or since you cannot write on paper and use a pen, you have to use your mouse and type out the formulas, and actually typing out stuff on the computer is much quicker than drawing on the platform. So that's a tip from a student of mine who got accepted, so to let you know. And if you look, for example, one student, he broke his wrist. He's a professional tennis player, and then he decided, okay, I'm not going to use the mouse, I'm going to point the camera on my notebook and I'm going to write stuff out and I'm going to solve it like that. And unfortunately, he was disqualified. So he had very high points. He's a very smart young man, but unfortunately, because they couldn't prove what he was doing and they couldn't see him, they could only see his notebook, they disqualified him. And they said, okay, you get no spot because of that. And he tried to he even had x-rays of his wrist injury. He showed it to them. He went in person to the university, but they couldn't do anything about it. So if you have any injuries or anything, please let the BeAble team know, because they will try to accommodate to your needs. And there is the contacts of them on the WU's website as well. So as soon as something happens, please contact them immediately, and so you have some time to figure something out, and don't just have like a self-made decision that may turn out not in your favor. So that's an important note to let you know. And about the acceptance rate, like it's 10%. And about the waiting, there's of course a waiting list of people who maybe give up their spot or decide to go for another university. And don't hope too much on it, but what I know is students with the same score, for example, students have the same score in the same place sometimes, so they both have 232nd place, for example. Both of them will get in as of 2022. And also for the waiting list in 2021, the person in the 243rd place, he got in, but the girl in 251st didn't. But in 2022, it was a bit different, since the last person to get in from the waiting list had a rank of 272. So it was kind of a bit far down. So don't hope on the waiting list too much, but it can happen, like a miracle can happen. And yeah, so they figured out, because some people cannot like get admitted or cannot fulfill the document requirements and so on, or they cannot come on time to Vienna. Then they figured out that some students like drop out eventually. So in the end, it will still equal out to more or less 240 students. Basically naturally. And so be aware of that. And also for entrance exam preparation, I also do a lot of videos. I post a lot of stories, posts on Instagram, and videos here, description. So you can either self-prepare with the recommendations I give in my Instagram videos and on YouTube, and what WU says on their website, or you can also prepare with me. I made a preparation course because I was myself struggling and preparing for 6 months with 2 professors for it, so I decided to make life a bit easier for you and to give you something I wish I had. And in that course, it's also constantly improving. And for example, 60 new tasks so far have been added, and 15 more are to come. So, and those tasks are more difficult tasks. Question 5 statements true false format, like on the exam. So you have a very, very good estimation of what to be ready for. Because of the entrance exam, for the math part, they try to make it a bit more difficult since more people are applying. So when I was taking it back in 2019, it was exactly like the Matura, and Matura is basically a high school Austrian living exam for math and for other subjects as well. And it's based on that, and at that point it was more or less exactly the same as the Matura questions. But now, since the questions have like 5 statements each statement is like a task of its own. You have to calculate more, you have to spend more time, you can write on paper, it all adds up, and it takes you more time to solve those questions than you would spend on like on a general matura paper for part 1 questions. So please keep in mind it's going to be a mix of simpler questions and harder questions there. And that's why I prepare students for both type of questions, the simpler matura-based questions and the harder ones. So they know they're ready for anything that's there. And also for the economics part, since you have the book provided to you, and on the exam nothing will be asked outside of that book, and it's pretty simple to get ready for, it's pretty straightforward. And there you on the course I made 30 questions with like recap questions, like shorter ones, and also added new like 31 new questions there. And those questions, they're like in the exam format, true false statements, and there they go, like they cover all the chapters from chapter 1 to chapter 6. So have no excuse after going through 61 questions for economics not to remember everything by heart, and that's gonna give you like save you so much time on the economics part. Because what people sometimes do is they let's say spend 1 hour, maybe 10 minutes on both English and economics, and then they leave more time for themselves for the math part, since that's the harder part. And for English, I give recommendations how to prepare, where to find the vocabulary. They usually ask what kind of text you will have, what kind of questions you have to be ready for. And also I added a section with the mistakes students usually make and what they fall for in the test, so that you can avoid them and you can be aware of them. And for the math part, that's the biggest emphasis of the course, and there you have the theory, the practice tasks. And yeah, I'm also, keeping up to date, so I'm adding harder tasks there, so you practice and practice and practice. I'm also adding trickier statements there, so that they can trick you here, or this could be the case, or this is possible, so you're ready for anything. And yeah, that's my main goal, to prepare you, to give you all the possible knowledge you might need on the entrance exam, and then your job is to apply it correctly and quickly. And then if you feel like you know everything and you have a great preparation level right now, you can also take my exam simulation on this website. And there you have like a simulation of the exam. You have 33 questions for all, and you have all 3 parts there, and they're in the true-false format with the partial point grading system. So everything is like on the exam, apart from the questions, of course, are different, since they're based on the difficulty and the knowledge you might need. And but they're not like exactly what you will have. That would be impossible to do, because you never know what questions they make up in June. And so it will give you like a good starting comparison point of what you think what you might focus on, like your weaker points where you made the mistakes, because you will see what you got wrong or right on the entrance exam simulation. So it's going to be like a great comparison of your reality and expectations, and will allow you to tailor your preparation plan based on where you got some mistakes or what you should just revise because you know it already. So you can of course DM me on my Instagram or contact me from an email for the website for if you have any questions about that. Or you can also self-prepare. And anyways, I wish you best of luck, and I really hope that the preparation goes as smoothly as possible for you, and also the selection procedure as well. And the last thing I would like to talk about is the admission process, and it starts around the end of July. So a week after the exam you get the results, and then 2 or 3 days later you get an official email from WU offering your place or unfortunately rejecting you, saying you can unfortunately didn't pass it. And it's really because the exam, even 1 point can make a difference, since the exam is okay, so it's doable, but the time limit, having to do everything online and drawing online, not on paper, which we're all used to, and the fact that once you get into the 70-80% area where most students would would be, and then there even 0.5 points or 1 point can move you like 50 places or 100 places up or down. So it really matters. Even 1 point can play a huge difference in what the next 3 years are going to be like for you. So your main goal is to not get 100% on the test. It's to be better than 90% of the people. It's still complicated, but usually an average score you would need based on previous year experiences is over 80%. So it's, it's doable, but you have to, even 1 point can determine your fate. So keep that in mind. And also for the admission, if something goes wrong with your documents, or it takes more time than you thought to do the translation, to get the apostille, please let WU know, because there is of course the general enrollment period where you send the documents by post or you bring them in person, and then in that period until the 5th of September you have to actually come in person to WU to pick up your documents, pick up the student card, and also to sign some stuff. And yeah, and if you're unable to complete it during the general enrollment period because of like visa reasons or other reasons stated on WU's website, and it's not your fault, you can apply for the extended enrollment period that lasts until the 31st of October, and really try your best to come to those classes, because if you cannot get admitted, then you will lose your place. But if you get admitted and then you have to go back to your home country for any reason, you can still take maybe free elective courses, so you can basically turn the schedule upside down a bit, and you can take the free elective courses, because you will need to wait 1 year for the mandatory courses to start in the winter semester, because there's like 2 courses you need to complete in order to register for all the other courses. So that's how it works. And if a document is missing, or it's taking a bit longer to get a translation and apostille, please contact WU as well, because if you have the original document on your hands and you're in Vienna and you can study, they will very likely continue you going on with your studies, and they will wait until you get the original document. And as soon as you can, like, it's not my fault, for example, the authorities are taking a bit longer, they're fine with it. So please, with any issue you have with the documents and them taking a bit longer than you expected, please contact WU, because they really will try to accommodate you and to figure out a solution. So yeah, then best of luck, and see you in the next video, and follow me here and on Instagram, because the next video I will invite a student who's applying right now to ask me questions. So it will be like an interview format, but the places will be switched. So I won't be the person asking questions, I will be the person answering the questions. And if you have any questions you would like me to answer, please let me know. I will answer them, so you can leave a comment there, like this video, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.